So, what are we going to the dollar store for?
Replacement for the coffee cup I broke.
I found some dishes in the noodles room. Sorry, the purple room. They were under stuff.
You want me to break those too?
No.
Okay.
So if they're green, they're breakable. If they're different color, they're not.
You didn't need to break it.
So, layers, onion boy. Okay, you talked about the tree samples.
Yeah, talking about tree samples.
And that was cute when you're third grade and you're a kid and you're going out to count rings. But, yeah, of course it was more complicated than what they would tell a third grader.
But counting rings doesn't tell you years. It tells you
Seasons,
It
I
tells
guess.
you. It tells you what the growth cycles were like, whether they were favorable or unfavorable. It doesn't tell you why they were favorable or unfavorable. Just that they were favorable or unfavorable.
Okay, so me and my secret YouTube friend. Okay, nobody really. I don't know if anybody's there, but I'm wondering about these layer things, right? And you mentioned something about solution and things going in and out of solution. Oh, what was it? Layers. Ice core samples. So they go out and they go into a side of a glacier, maybe down into a glacier. I don't know where they get these things, but they come back with sediments, either out of the dirt or out of the ice. And ice seems to pile up over years. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
It also declines over years.
A lot of people have not been out to look at a glacier, so they don't know what the surface
They
of the
have
glacier
pictures?
looks like. Yeah, but people don't really like to look at the pictures. They just like
Wait,
somebody
we
to
gotta
give
check
them
for
a
my
quick,
trailer.
simple, easy answer, and they can believe that and feel good about whatever it is that they believe. But
Oh, still here.
yeah.
I'm checking the parking lot for trucks.
Okay. I thought you were looking for your trailer.
Still there.
Still there. All right.
Okay, so ice core samples. When people take them, supposedly glaciers. Okay, this is what I'm confused about. How do they measure these accurately if they don't know how much melts? Because supposedly glaciers are melting.
Yeah.
But I doubt that's the first time that's ever happened.
Well, they melt. They
We've
freeze.
been in
and
an
they
ice
melt, they
age.
freeze, and then more materials lay down.
Right.
It warms up. It starts to melt, and then it freezes, and this cycle goes on and on and on. And eventually, the spot where you have melting and freezing, melting and freezing, melting and freezing, gets covered up by new layers of snowfall, which will
To
melt
the
and freeze and
point
melt
you
and
can
freeze
even
and
have
freeze.
a freshwater lake in the middle of a glacier,
Yes.
and then it'll refreeze.
Yes.
So
Oh, not what? It's suspected that right around.
are we going to the dollar store first?
There's a dollar store next to where we're going.
Okay, good.
Right.
Either that, or this is gonna be a really short intro.
It's one of the theories about what caused the cooling period during the Younger Dryas event was meltwater lake burst, floods a whole bunch of fresh water out into the ocean, stops the
Currents.
stops the currents, right,
Salt,
from flowing the
salinity.
way they ordinarily do, which ordinarily would take warm air up or warm water up from the equator up to the
So
extremities.
Britain was
north and south
probably
pole.
under a glacier right then. Thank God for jet streams.
Oh, that's the theory. We don't know exactly if that's what happened, but it is a pretty
Well, if
good.
it happened again, Britain would be a glacier.
If we observed it happening, we could go, "Yep, that's what it is." But we haven't observed it happening again, so
But they
that's the theory anyway. And I think it's a pretty good theory that maybe that's what happened. What caused the meltwater lake to burst all of a sudden and not drain gradually? Don't know. It's suspected it might have been a massive cometary or perhaps even asteroid impact.
Well, they do say there is a layer of sediment, an extra layer, and they like either in the rock or the ice. So that
Yeah, we're looking at rock samples and soil samples in the boundary of sediments that you're looking for in soil or rock at about that
we should look into rock
11,500 to 12,000 years ago zone, 10,000 BC, give or take, plus or minus a few.
right.
There do appear to be places where you can find sometimes indications of a possible impact.
Alright, you know you're in Oklahoma when you can pass by a side by side. Sorry, continue.
I don't think that's street legal, is it? Oh, it's got a tag. I guess it is.
Yeah, you just can't go on the highway.
Oh, okay.
Is it, you know,
Huh? All right.
They can go up to like, I think 40, 60 miles an hour. I don't know. Depends on which one you get.
As long as nobody's getting hurt and everybody's happy with it, then fine.
It's got blinkers. It's got headlights.
It's got headlights and blinkers. I guess it's okay. Oh, wow. Smoke much, do you? I would get that looked at. That looks like you need a ring job.
Sorry, YouTube. I got distracted by something and my phone went sideways. It's gone now. I swear to God, the smoke was coming out the exhaust pipe and somehow back into the camper shell.
You'll see it as we pass by. It's been gone for a minute or two, but it's still hanging in the air there. Just look at this smoke cloud. That's from a vehicle that passed by while we were waiting at the stoplight. It's just now beginning to
It's
clear
in the
over
parking
there.
lot.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I might catch him. Oh,
You smell
I'm
something?
gonna go with
Ring job?
if I was driving a semi and this was my truck, I would say we're burning oil.
Yeah, you're burning oil. The question is why you're burning oil. Leaky crankcase?
Rear main seal leak. That was a lot. It was huge. Speaking of huge, all right, continue, layer boy. I mean, any boy, about his layers.
About layers.
And ice.
Layers of sediment. Okay. Well,
So how do they keep track of the sediment?
finding indicators of geological events or even cosmic impact events in strata of rock is one thing. Finding things in ice is a little bit different, just simply because of
rock.
the way...
Wait, hold on. Rock does change until it turns into rock. Say it starts out as mud. Once it's rock, it's less changeable, and then it's buried and preserved.
Yeah.
Ice, however, usually doesn't get buried.
Ice
Especially where they're
ice
taking samples at the poles.
Ice gets buried under more ice.
It melts and refreezes, melts and refreezes.
And it also cracks.
Oh, yeah.
And you wind up with crevices. And, yeah, you can find interesting things in polar ice as you're drilling down. You can find pollen from species of plants that don't exist anymore, or they've gone extinct.
That'd be
You can
cool.
even find maybe animal hair, little tiny bits of dander from an animal that isn't around anymore.
There's the river.
There's all kinds of stuff that you can find trapped in the ice. But there's a little bit of problem whenever you're collecting cores from ice.
You don't know how much it melted that year?
You don't, well,
That
yeah.
kind of thing?
Well, whenever you've got cracking in the surface of a glacier
Oh.
and melting,
You have mixing of layers.
you could have things from a layer up here get washed down through a crevice into a layer down
Wouldn't
below.
they know that? They just don't say that for average people. Like, hey, layers. You think they would know that?
I think you would have to take an awful lot of samples to get rid of the
Do they fund for that?
to get you'd have
That's
to
cold.
you'd have to find a spot where the point that you're wanting to look at is not contaminated with stuff from
A different
more
layer.
recent times. Yeah.
Because the crevices.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's if you're looking for things like pollen and sediments. If you're looking for something a little bit more ephemeral,
Those are onions.
like
Those are definitely our onion layers.
for example, some sort of gas that has been trapped in solution in the water, then you're going to have a more difficult time because
And you just went over my head.
okay,
Gas is trapped in solution.
gas is trapped in solution in liquids.
This might be a whole nother video. We might have to like dissect this one into parts.
Well, if you want to stop there, we'll get a soda pop and I'll do a little quick demonstration.
We'll be back at
If
the
you're
house.
interested, we'll do a quick demonstration.
We're almost to the store.
So we'll get a soda pop while we're at the store, and while we're at the store, we'll get a soda pop while we're at the store. See, that's good. We'll get a soda pop while we're at the store, and I can show you something about the way gases go into and come out of solution.
I swear I'm not starting an educational channel.
No.
You know, I was thinking, a little side note, you really should blog all the stuff you tell me you research when, like, I call you in the morning, and I'm like, hey, Jason, how's it going? 2 hours later, I should be smarter. Half time I'm like, wait, what? That was a big word.
Hang on, wait. Let's engage in rational thought for a moment.
Because you always look up this stuff. Like, you were trying to figure out the hockey stick that they have for, quote, climate change and temperature. But turns out they went from... What were they measuring before tree rings?
Okay.
They were looking at tree rings, and then
when-
they were measuring...
From the time that we started,
the old trees.
from the time that we started building instruments capable of measuring temperatures accurately. We have been measuring temperatures, and there have been more and more measurements taken on a yearly basis
In more different places.
as we get closer to the modern age. So you would expect that the closer we get to the modern age, the more accurate our measurements would tend to be, right?
I guess it depends on which ones you include and where they
Well,
are taken.
yeah, if you've got people that are choosing which measurements they're going to include in the
If they're superb,
in the graph,
if they're
and
not
which ones they're not
biased
going
at all.
to include in the graph, then yeah, you've got some opportunity for cherry picking. I believe this is what the entire ClimateGate thing was supposed to be about. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to it because there was another problem with the hockey stick. And we already talked about this, didn't we? I mean, I was planting a
Tree
tree.
rings, yeah.
I was planting a tree, and you were asking me about
See
tree
previous
rings.
video.
Yeah, see previous video.
I wish it the layers. Or
The-
rings
the-
in this
the more-
case.
the more accurate-
Like reading bumps on your head.
The
That
more-
one, yeah.
The more accurate measurement of temperatures that we have in the modern era, the industrial era,
And if they were looking at really old trees.
shows a general warming trend. But that's the point where we started getting that data. We weren't getting that data before that.
So if they, I was wondering,
Hmm.
you said that they cut, who's they, humans,
Humans.
cut down a whole bunch of mega forests during the Bronze Age. Every time
Well,
somebody reached the Bronze Age.
It wasn't megaflora during the Bronze Age.
No, but it was a huge forest.
We cut
Lots
down a
of
lot
forests.
of forests.
I said mega forest, not megafauna.
Yeah,
I've been in a new phrase. A new phrase.
Around
I
the
invented it.
Mediterranean and even
Wrote
up into
that.
Europe during the Bronze Age. Yeah.
Because we went to war, and war needs fuel.
Yes.
And the easiest
So-
fuel at the time was wood.
So major deforestation during the Bronze Age. Hey, I got to park over here because I haven't done that in a long time.
It's definitely the sunny side. Okay, before we go in, you gotta talk about the Bronze Age. And then we're gonna go back to the soda pop.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about
People needed fuel for war.
Fuel for making bronze, weapons, shields, armor, spears,
Yeah.
arrowheads, all that good stuff. Yeah. And then whenever new sources of timber were found, there was a lot more cutting going on too. You get to North America, whenever the Europeans came here, they went, "Wow, look at all these pine trees, so big and so
Why
tall
were they
and so
so
straight."
excited about the pine trees? Britain. Okay, I've heard stories. Okay, and before the Revolutionary War, apparently somebody was supposed to ship the biggest trees back to Britain.
Ah,
But then, the story is this governor took the biggest trees and he was building a house.
do you need to have the phone at me while you're talking about this, or are you going to talk to the camera? Oh, you want my reaction? Okay.
Okay, so the story is,
Story is.
I believe it was a British governor. He got tired of the British, but I'm not for sure. Anyways, so they're supposed to be shipping these huge pines back to Britain.
Okay.
But Britain's getting cheap on this or whatever. They had their arguments about
Right.
payments and work and other issues. So anyways, when this governor invites the guy from Britain over to assess the situation about the logs and whatnot as they're coming down from the north,
Why are we not getting the timbers that we thought we were going to be getting?
he went out of his way to make sure his new mansion had the longest, perfect floor planks. They went completely from one end to the other, like hundreds of feet. Just long plank after long plank, like the best ship masses ever were cut into floorboards. I was like, I like that story. I gotta look that up. Floorboards. Yeah. Anyways, that was the story.
That was the story.
But they were so excited to get those because, well, they no longer had them.
Yeah.
World War II wiped out, damn near extinct the horse in Europe.
Yeah.
So the Bronze Age damn near wiped out the trees in their respective places.
Well, it wiped out a lot of old growth forests. It certainly did.
'Cause those were the tallest trees.
not everywhere, of course,
Mesopotamia?
but all around
Mediterranean.
the Mediterranean, they cut down all the ancient trees in the Mediterranean. I don't know if you can find old trees around the Mediterranean. There is a chestnut tree growing on the slopes of Mount Etna in Italy.
They just can't get to.
That's been chestnut's not really a thing you would cut for firewood.
So they skipped it.
It's been growing there for hundreds of years. It's gotten so big that that their roads go through it. It's called the chestnut tree of 100 horses because of a story about how that band of travelers had taken shelter underneath the tree while passing during a storm. Queen, I thought it was a queen, yeah, passing that way.
Tree of 100 horses.
There was room for 100 horses under that tree. So it was huge even back during those days. So I mean, not all the ancient trees were cut down,
so
but a great number.
So
of them were.
that would explain why we have lost our carbon cycle.
No, it's part of it, yeah. Because if you're wanting to produce oxygen in the atmosphere, you have to have plants that are interacting with the atmosphere.
Right. Okay, YouTube, it's getting hot in here. Gotta go.